Then he said to them, is it lawful to do good or to do harm on the Sabbath, to save life or to kill? But they were silent. Mark 3, verse 4. What to do? Good or evil? This is the choice that human beings have had for as long as they have inhabited the world. It's a choice that Adam and Eve were given when God placed them in the garden and commanded, you are free to eat from any tree in the garden, but you must not eat from the tree of knowledge of good and evil. For when you eat from it, you will certainly die. I think too of Moses in one of his last speeches to the Israelites, when he had attained the ripe old age of 120, no longer able to get around, his time to die was near. And just before handing over the reins of leadership to his successor, Joshua, Moses said to the people, today I am giving you a choice between good and evil, between life and death. Moses exhorted the people to choose life. Our text reminds us that we are still confronted with that choice and will always be as long as we live and suffering exists. In today's reading, Jesus finds himself in a jam. He must decide whether or not to heal a man on the Sabbath. On the surface, the situation seems to pose a conflict. As the passage shows, by healing the man on the Sabbath, Jesus created a problem for himself, as the Pharisees went and conspired with the Herodians to destroy him. Not to help the man he encountered that day was a problem of a different kind. For Jesus, it was a choice between good and evil, saving life or destroying it. When decisions are weighed on the scale of good and evil, it becomes a little clearer what we must do. So Jesus asks a searching question to those who were waiting for him to do something wrong, for those who were waiting to have something against him. He asks what to do, evil or good. As an important step in becoming a doctor or physician, medical students must take what is known as the Hippocratic Oath, or some version of it. One of the promises that oath contains goes like this. First, do no harm. Physicians or doctors often see people when they are most vulnerable, and as part of their preparation must promise to refrain from causing harm or hurt to their patients or to anyone they might treat. Indeed, such ethical standards apply to all in caring professions. but I believe they would be universally beneficial regardless of profession or position. If we could all live by that promise, do no harm, what a wonderful world it would be. I like something that John Wesley, the founder of Methodism, said. And I find it to be a better response to Jesus' question on this occasion than the silence that he received from the Pharisees and those whom he addressed. Wesley said the following, and I quote, "Do all the good you can, by all the means you can, in all the ways you can, in all the places you can, at all the times you can, to all the people you can, as long as ever you can." End of quote. What to do, evil or good? Our text is also very helpful in that we may ask, to whom must we be good? Jesus, we are told, entered the synagogue on the Sabbath day and encountered a man with a withered hand, or a paralyzed hand, as the passage says. Now, we aren't given too many details about this man. We can speculate a little bit about his condition. A withered hand, a paralyzed hand, represented some need that this individual had. We do not know whether the man was born with this condition. Was it a birth defect? We do not know. Whether his withered or paralyzed hand was a result of some other condition, such as a stroke, or whether it was caused by an accident, the story does not tell us. It's probably important as well that we are not told more about the man with the withered or paralyzed hand than what we are told. So there is much silence about the man himself. And I find this significant. Sometimes, my friends, what the Bible doesn't say is as important as what it says. We might make certain assumptions about the man, but there might not be any evidence to back up or to support those assumptions that we might make. He is a man with a paralyzed hand. Where was he from? Was he married? What was his sexual orientation? Did Jesus meet him previously? What was his political persuasion? So many questions to which the story provides no answers. He is a man with a paralyzed or a withered hand. That is all we are told about him. He could be any man, any person with that condition. He could be any one of us. Jesus chose to do good. Jesus chose to help, to heal this man for no reason other than he was someone that Jesus could help. Interestingly, my friends, the man doesn't come to Jesus. here is a story where it appears that Jesus took the initiative to help this man, to heal him. Jesus called him forward. Jesus went to the man. He did something good for him. And we can be good to anyone. That is what this story illustrates. When to do good is also another question that this story brings up. It is also worth mentioning, my friends, when this episode occurred, when this case, where the setting or the context of this episode, it was on the Sabbath. And the Sabbath, I'm not sure if you know this, but it can be a very controversial subject or topic. Today's passage illustrates how controversial a subject the Sabbath can be. Some of the conflict between Jesus and the Pharisees centered around the Sabbath law. The Pharisees, you see, were members of a Jewish religious group known for their strict observance of the traditional and written law. They regarded themselves as the guardians of the law of Moses, and they were dedicated to upholding it with every fiber of their being. The Pharisees were so keen on protecting the Sabbath law and ensuring that it was not violated that they came up with what scholars refer to as fence laws, designed to give guidance and place limits on how much and what an individual can do that would not constitute work and lead to breaking the Sabbath law. So when Jesus' disciples plucked heads of grain from the grain fields on the Sabbath, the Pharisees charged that as a violation of the Sabbath law, anticipating that they would feel the same way about him performing a healing, a miracle on the Sabbath. Jesus asked the question that is our text for today. Is it lawful to do good or to do harm on the Sabbath? To save life or to kill? To which the Pharisees gave no answer. They were silent at Jesus' question. Jesus did good when the opportunity presented itself. The day did not matter. And as far as Jesus was concerned, there is no better day to do good than the Sabbath. Wouldn't it be wonderful, my friends, after leaving worship, to be able to do some good for as many people as we can? There's no better day than the day known as the Sabbath to do good. So Jesus did good when the opportunity presented itself. He could have waited for the Sabbath to end. He could have told the man to meet him another time after the Sabbath was past. But Jesus did not want to miss the opportunity to do good to someone who needed his help. He would not have the man suffer another day by delaying help. And so, my friends, let this story today teach us to put compassion first. always put compassion first, and not to postpone the good that we're able to do for others. No matter who might be watching or what others might be thinking, no matter what our critics might be up to, let us, like Jesus, boldly live our calling. And that was the theme, part of the theme of this year's annual conference. Together in prayer, boldly living our call in 2018. So let us be bold in living out our call to do good to as many as we can, without discrimination, and defeat evil by the good we do each day. It is never inappropriate to do something good for others. And any day, my friends, is a good day to do good deeds. May God bless you as you seek to do good to others, and may others be good to you. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.